Hey, Dustin Tibbetts here, financial advisor with Jazz Wealth Managers, and today, this one may seem a little bit obvious, but you know there are some things that the wealthy people spend their money on that the rest of us just won't pay up for. And I'm not talking about like champagne or some fancy hotel room. I'm talking about the things that directly impact their wealth and their personal finances. You know, the first thing that wealthy people pay up for is a good tax guy or girl. But you never see someone who is wealthy going to H&R Block paying the $69.95 to have someone that just learned how to do taxes a couple months ago, and which, by the way, is their side hustle. You know that there's very rarely some retired CPA that works at H&R Block just to make a little extra money to send to her grandkids. These are people that do this on the side for the most part. Not saying they're bad, but they're basically just put through a training program and then taught to crank out the people there. So a wealthy person, I want you to actually try this. Go to a wealthy person that you know is pretty well off, good with their money, not like rich and you know all that, just someone that's good with their money, and ask them for their tax guy. They will always say, oh, he's good, but he's not cheap, right? And that's because they pay up for that. In 2013, 1 million people left $1 billion on the table with the IRS. The IRS put out a big website, they made a big deal out of it, and people still didn't go get the $1 billion. It wasn't because they didn't want the money, it was because their tax guy didn't know how to get it for them. So this is the first one, and you should look at this too. This is the one thing that you want to pay up for. Make sure that your taxes are done correctly, and if you're owed some money, you know that that person's going to find it for you. You know how you get mad at the big corporations because, oh, they have like a 4% tax rate? That's just because they're playing the game. They found people to do their taxes, and those are the rules that they're allowed to use. Now, you may disagree with those rules. I happen to disagree with quite a few of them, but those are the current rules. And so corporations are using their tax guys, paying them big sums of money to make sure that they pay less money. The second thing that wealthy people pay up for is insurance. Now, wait, this one's kind of interesting. When was the last time you saw a wealthy person go bankrupt because of a natural disaster, a personal accident, maybe something burning to the ground? It just doesn't happen, right? And that's because wealthy people understand the power of protection. If you have money and you have assets, you protect those assets at all costs. A good example would have been Richard Branson, the Virgin Atlantic guy, a Virgin America guy, the Virgin guy. He had this island, Necker Island, and it burnt down, right? The whole thing was kind of like wiped out. And did you hear him complaining on TV? Did it somehow ruin his financial well-being? No, he had insurance. The famous celebrities that go out and crash these cars and you see like, oh, they had like 2 Ferraris and they crashed one into the other. Are they all of a sudden bankrupt? No. You never hear of any celebrity all of a sudden going bankrupt because of a mudslide in California and they lost all of their property, which they had all their money in, and now they have no money. It's because they have good insurance. Now, we are taught as a general public to shop around for insurance. That means shop around for the best deal for you. It does not mean shop around for the cheapest price. So I think there's a little disconnect. Every personal finance guru on the planet wants you to get a good deal. They don't want you to pay the least, okay? So pay close attention when you see that. Make sure you have the best insurance for you. This is gonna seem like a little bit of a plug. Of course it is, because that's what I do. But the third thing you wanna pay up for is a financial advisor, a financial person that's going to manage your investments. Now, I don't mean necessarily to pay up for this. Here's the deal. I came from a background where the company I used to work for would sell these really expensive products, and they would only deal with the wealthy. Now, the wealthy never questioned the fees in these products. I personally thought it was ridiculous. I was on the sort of processing end, and I got to see the fees that these people were paying, and I thought, this is ridiculous. But the wealthy people never called to complain. Why? Because those were really good investments. You see, the most of us are out there looking for the cheapest index fund we can put our money into, and we have no reason for why we want to put it in a cheap index fund other than, well, that's what the Warren Buffett and all these other people tell you to do with your money so you don't pay a lot in fees. I can tell you that that may be the case for a lot of you, but What is it that's best for you? And if it means you pay a little bit more to get the best for you, then that's what you need to go after. The key to this is to make sure that the person making the suggestions, in this case I'm going to use me as the example, make sure that this person does not benefit from suggesting a different investment for you. See, if I suggest that you invest here or here, doesn't matter, doesn't change a thing. If this costs you a tiny bit more than this one, I see no benefit from that. It means that I truly think this one's best for you. Now we can disagree, we can choose something else, but other advisors may suggest this one because this one pays them good money and this one does not pay them good money. This one could be the best one for you, so make sure if you're paying up for good advice. That's why I started Jazz Wealth, because the wealthy people at the prior company were getting all of the good advice. Now granted, they were paying a lot for it. They didn't care. They were getting good advice. That made me think, where's the place for the little guy? Where's the place for the beginner? The people that really need the advice to get them going so that one day they can be wealthy. And that's why I started Jazz Wealth. I hope you'll check it out. I'll quit talking about us now. Let's go on to the fourth tip. The fourth thing that you notice wealthy people will pay up for is their child's education. Now, I'm sort of a stickler on this one here, but you do see wealthy people pay up for it. In my opinion, if you are a good parent and you are taking time with your child, there is no need to put them in a private school through grade 12. So all this, elementary school, middle school, high school, you do your job as a parent and you save your money. Don't put them in a private school. Now, the wealthy, they'll do anything to get their kids into a good college. This is where you want to do everything you can for your child. However, do not take from your personal investments to pay for the child's education. You should be planning on this earlier in life with a UGMA account, maybe a 529. I don't like 529, so let me just get rid of that one. But you should be planning ahead of time for your child's education. Do not get to when your kid goes to college and you say, I'm going to take some money out of my retirement to make sure my kid has money. That just means you're going to be living on your kid's couch when they eventually get out of college. So don't do that. Let's plan now so that your kids have what they need in college. And for God's sakes, quit spending money on private schools when your kids are in grade school. Do your job. Be a parent. All right, well, that's 4 things that I think you'll agree you see that wealthy people spend their money on. Where do you land? Do you try to get the cheapest possible alternative for those 4 things? Let me know in the comments below, and maybe do you disagree with me? Do you think you should pay for a private school for your kids when they're younger? Do you think they somehow get a little bit smarter in a private school? Does that mean you don't have to help as much, huh? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching. If you would, give me just 1 second, hit the subscribe button. Helps us out a lot. Thank you, and we'll talk to you soon.
Take it, Satch.